welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. My name is Aaron. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe because we bring you daily videos on everything you need to know involving Bitcoin, crypto, the whole market. I go over recent news like we're doing today, and I keep you informed on what is going on with Bitcoin and crypto today. Speaking of Bitcoin today, Bitcoin is breaking out of 6-month resistance, a 6-month downtrend. Call it a wedge, call it a downwards channel. You can see here that at the time of recording, Bitcoin sits at $8,200. You'll have to tell me what the price is when you watch this video. But what I want to see is a continued sideways action, breaking out of this downward channel, or even an upwards movement. If we can see that, that signals to me that we have broken out. If we fall, right down today or tomorrow, then this would be a false breakout. But maybe if we can spend some time above this channel and maybe retest it in the future in a continued upwards movement, this is what I want to see, meaning that the local low of the reaccumulation phase was 6,300. What do you think? Do you think Bitcoin still has farther to fall? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Our top story of the day is this. Potentially the world's biggest Bitcoin mine is said to have signed up 2 top corporate customers, SBI Holdings and GMO. So this is a continuation of a story that we reported to you in November. We're going to get into all the details in a second, but basically this new Bitcoin mining firm has signed up 2 giant clients. So the Japanese corporate giants will be renting mining capacity at a facility in Rockdale, Texas. It was recently put into construction, as you know, by Whinstone Inc. All this information has been reported by Bloomberg and CoinDesk. The firms are to begin mining within the next coming months. As CoinDesk reported in November, when the facility gets up and running, it will likely be the biggest Bitcoin mine in the world, starting at 300 megawatts and expanding to 1 gigawatt by the end of 2020. So you probably thought the biggest mining facility in the world is Bitmain, and it is up until today. That puts the rival mine being built by Bitmain, which is also in Rockdale and touted as the biggest in the world, in the shade. That's planned to start at a capacity of only 25 to 50 megawatts and possibly expand to 300 megawatts. Soon after Whinstone broke ground on its Texas project, the company was acquired by German-based Northern Bitcoin, which already runs a Bitcoin mine in Norway that harnesses renewable power. Similarly, Texas may have been chosen as the site for this major venture in part due to its availability of cheap wind power, according to Bloomberg. So some more renewable energy. So my thoughts on this: if Bitcoin is truly the future of money, this is exactly what I want to see. I want to see companies fight to mine Bitcoin. I want to see Bitmain challenged, renewable energy, all that stuff. I think this is a long-term bullish indicator, but you don't need me to tell you that. Speaking of good things, 8 members of Congress have asked the IRS to fix its broken guidance on forks and airdrops. Again, this is exactly what I want to see. So in October, the IRS released long overdue answers to pressing questions about how Americans can properly calculate their taxes owed for various crypto activities. Unfortunately, that guidance is muddled, raises more questions than it answers, and seems to be based on poor understanding of how cryptocurrency networks work. Well, 8 members of Congress have recently written to the IRS saying you need to get your S together. You can read the whole thing yourself, but 3 direct questions that these 8 Congress people are asking the IRS. Number 1, does the IRS intend to clarify its airdrop and fork hypotheticals to better match the actual nature of these events within the cryptocurrency ecosystem? When does the IRS anticipate issuing that clarification? Number 2, does the IRS intend to clarify its standard for finding dominion and control over forked assets, wherein some level of knowledge and actual affirmative steps taken are necessary to find that the taxpayer has dominion and control? So I'm sure you understand this, just because the coin is forked and you potentially have control over new forked coins doesn't mean you actually actively took control of it. So this is muddled to the IRS in their new October clarifications. Then the third thing, does the IRS intend to apply the current guidance for any future guidance retroactively, or will the IRS issue proposed guidance that is subject to notice and comment? So again, the overall point is the IRS released new, which is good, but muddled clarifications or thoughts for crypto, which is not that great. 8 Congress people are holding their feet to the fire, saying we need to do better. In other news, SegWit adoption jumps to all-time high of 69%. Nice. Bitcoin hash rate is now 7 times higher than its size during the 2017 all-time high. People are turning on their mining equipment. They want digital gold. Nice. And looking back at 2019, 250,000 users joined the subreddit r/Bitcoin in 2019. We know this because a big milestone for r/Bitcoin was reached in December of 2018 at 1 million subscribers. So the question is, how many new users will join the subreddit in 2020? And of course, all new users need to make sure they're actively voting and commenting. Next piece of news, Coinbase Pro app now available on Android with 50 trading pairs. By the way, guys, if you're getting value in this video, make sure you like it. It's really a small thing you can do. It takes a few seconds, and it truly does help us grow as a channel. Before we get into the details of this, I just want you to remember back in 2017 when the price of Bitcoin was pumping to $20,000, when XRP was pumping to over $3, we didn't have anything like this. And now it seems stuff like this is coming onto the market every week. Coinbase Pro releases a new Android application Tuesday. So project manager Linda Shi wrote in a blog post that Coinbase Pro customers in more than 100 countries could use 50 different trading pairs with his Android app, released some 3 months after the company first launched the iOS app targeting professional traders. Both apps offer deposit and withdrawal services, and the mobile trading experience provided by the app offers the functionality of our desktop platform, she wrote. Other features, according to Shi, include real-time candles, order books, depth charts, identical fees to its existing desktop platform. Again, these are all things, if cryptocurrency, if Bitcoin has a future, of course, this is exactly what we should be seeing. And our final story of the day coming from News BTC, 100 billion in Bitcoin hasn't moved in over a year. And in this person's opinion, and I echo this is bullish. So if Bitcoin has a future, we would expect to, or if Bitcoin didn't have a future, we would expect to see a lot of people, especially older wallets, selling their Bitcoin. That's not what we've been seeing. Let's find out some details. The cumulative sum in dormant Bitcoin addresses surpassed 12.58 million Bitcoin, worth just about 100 billion. At current price. It indicates most investors are holding strong despite the volatility in the market. It also demonstrates that amidst one of the steepest falls in recent history, almost 14,000 all the way down to 6,400, the majority of investors were holding on to their Bitcoin. It's an optimistic macro indicator for Bitcoin. In the short term, the price movement of Bitcoin is likely to be swayed by trends in margin trading, like BitMEX, like Binance Futures. Oftentimes, long or short squeezes trigger a significant price movement to either the downside or the upside, creating large volatility in the crypto market. In the long term, however, macro and fundamental factors will determine the pathway of Bitcoin. Fundamentals for the dormant cryptocurrency are considered to be metrics such as hash rate, user activity, declining supply, or scarcity. We're seeing this. The lack of outflow from most Bitcoin addresses adds to the optimistic macro outlook on Bitcoin. It specifically demonstrates that at least more than half of all Bitcoin holders are investing with a long-term investment thesis. To finish this out, the long-term investment thesis for Bitcoin. In a famous essay entitled The Case for a Small Allocation of Bitcoin, I really liked this, you should read this, by Zappo CEO, said in March 2019 that he believes Bitcoin could be worth as much as 1 million in the next decade. And I know our tiny little lizard brains cannot fathom a price of 1 million per Bitcoin, but it is possible. It's a long way off, but it is possible. He says, my preferred way of guessing how the price of Bitcoin may evolve is much more prosaic. I have noticed over time the price of Bitcoin fluctuates around 7,000 times how many people own Bitcoin. So if that constant remains, and if 3 billion people ever own Bitcoin, it would be worth 21 trillion, 7,000 times 3 billion, or 1 million per Bitcoin. It's just math. Bitcoin would have to see an exponential increase in adoption over the next several years and show a similar trend to gold in evolving into a proper store of value. But when you see things like this, cumulative sum in dormant Bitcoin addresses, meaning more and more people are choosing to hodl their Bitcoin, it seems to me that Bitcoin is turning into that store of value. That is it for me today, my friends. My name is Aaron. This is Altcoin Daily. I want to leave you with a video recommendation. This was a live stream I watched live yesterday, put on by Coinbase. This one right here. He talks to Willy Woo, who we reference all the time, on his analysis of what is going on in the Bitcoin markets. If you haven't seen this, it's over 2 hours long, but I highly recommend it. I was considering pulling a few short clips from it, but you should just watch the whole thing yourself because the whole thing is pretty valuable. All right, that is it for me today, my friends. This is Aaron at Altcoin Daily. Have a fantastic week.